welcome to Watching Worst Films, your guide to Razzie history, the podcast in which we watch every Razzie Worst Picture winner. In the second half, we discuss the other nominees and winners. My name is Jericho Reed, and with me...
It's me, Kyle Szymanski. Hello, hello.
So, this year we watched 2003's, and I want to get this right, Gigli.
It's pronounced Gigli, like really. See? I did watch the film.
Just to get off the top, we watched this through less than legal means, as ever. Did you have any experience with Gigli before?
So, no, I know the poster. I think the poster's been, I don't know why, but I can see the poster in my head, like Affleck and Lopez.
Yeah.
I knew it was a bomb, and everything else I thought about the film, I was totally wrong. Like what it was, essentially. I thought it was a rom-com.
It's meant to be. It says it is.
Says it is. That's a lie. So yeah, no, completely blind. Did no research either. Just watched the bloody thing, and that was it, really. So what about you? Any background to it?
Very similar. I didn't really know anything about it. Like you, I knew the poster, and I feel like I got it confused with another film, like an Angelina Jolie film or something. Anyway, I knew nothing about it, really. I knew it as a punchline, but beyond that...
I kind of got it confused with Chase and Amy as well.
For good reason.
And there's similarities to come up about, but yeah, like it just blurred into my... like aware of it, but that's about it.
So I suppose we'll do our thing of box office. So
okay. Wait, can I take a guess here? Because I was thinking about this, because this is a cheap fucking film, but I'm going to say it's going to be between 35 and 45 million based on the cast. No.
So the budget for Gigli was 75.5 million.
Holy shit. Okay, never mind.
Would you care to hazard a guess as to how much it made?
I'm going to go really low. I'm going to say under 10. Under 10.
Yeah. So it made 7.2 million. And an interesting little piece of trivia for you is Jennifer Lopez was paid 12 million and Ben Affleck was paid 12.5 million. So even one of their salaries was over the budget for...
Wow. That's a big...
over the box office for the movie.
That's a big chunk of change. And I'm assuming the two cameos that I'll talk about was probably another chunk of change.
Yeah.
So already your budget's and then advertising and everything. Yeah. This film probably didn't actually have a big budget production-wise.
Yeah, so I can't believe that we've spoken about Heaven's Gate and all the like sort of notorious like studio killers, and here we're speaking about a movie that was just doomed from the off, because 100%. This is a notorious flop. Like, yeah, critically panned, and every UK cinema dropped the film after 1 week. This was... we should put the call out. If you saw Gigli in cinemas, then get in touch.
Yeah, see that ticket stub is going to be worth more than the film now, you know.
So let's get straight into it. To set up the film, Ben Affleck plays Gigli. Gigli. His name is Larry, apparently. I am learning from the plot synopsis.
I remember it being called Larry, because Brian calls him Larry. That's the only reason I remember.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Yeah.
So we start off with Larry Gigli, and he is given an assignment. So he's a member of the mob, and he gets sent to go and kidnap the younger brother of a federal prosecutor as sort of leverage in a trial. To jump backwards a little bit, we start off with like a sort of jazzy score.
Well, okay, like, because all my thoughts are I've got a lot of thoughts about the opening, so I'm going to interrupt you here. I hate the score. This is something I'm going to moan about for the next hour. I hate the score. I think this is the weirdest sort of like sitcom-y drum machine. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe you can help me here with trivia. I don't think this was the original score. If it was, then Jesus Christ. It feels like it was tacked in to make it more rom-com-y or more... I don't know. Could be making that up. It felt odd to me. It's so inappropriate. It's so strange. I'll moan about it throughout the whole fucking episode, but I kind of want to talk about the very opening scene.
Well, I just want to before we leave the score. It says in IMDb trivia, though almost everything was criticized, John Powell's score earned some praise, which I do not believe
No,
because his score was
absolute
dreadful.
bullshit.
I agree. It's
It
like
sounds
it's
it's stock music.
and
It's so
it's so
lazy. It's
heavy-handed on like this is an
hmm
emotional moment. This is how you should be
hmm
feeling, and
that's why I was thinking it was, redone, because
yeah,
I can sense this film
in the
through
edit, like
advertising.
this
Yeah, I can.
emotional
This
beat
isn't
isn't
getting
hitting, so let's
exactly.
ramp up.
Exactly. So again, I think he might have praised it, the composer, but no, 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 no,
John
no, no.
Powell is
It's
telling
all
everyone like this is the best work I've ever done. Mum, you
yeah.
need to
Who
go
added that
see
on IMDb?
you need to go see Gigli while you get the chance, Mum, because it's not going to be around for very long.
Ah,
Just looking him up, he also did the score for. It's saying he did the score for Thin Red Line, which can't be right because Hans Zimmer did the score for Thin Red Line. So, um, anyway, maybe he's just been
it's a
running
pseudonym.
amok.
That's what he is.
Yeah. Oh, he did Don't Worry, Darling. Anyway, the reason I have the score noted down so early is it starts with that sort of like jazzy, like
hmm
jazzy score, and then it just like it's almost like 5 seconds of jazz, and then it immediately just transitions into strings, and it's so
Yep.
fucking jarring, and already you're like, uh oh, I do not feel in safe hands. I'm going through
Yep.
turbulence. This
And
director doesn't know what the film is.
it's not obviously, it's not a big backing orchestra. It's a preset on a synthesizer, strings. It is drum machine is so cheap. That's the only way I can say it is right off the bat. Like the first, I don't know, the first sounds I'm hearing, the first 2 minutes of a film should entice me.
Yeah,
And again, there's stuff I'm going to talk about the score later because, as always, I made up my own film in my head watching this.
yeah.
And I think this is one of my easiest fixes is to not even get a score, but just to put songs in, just use real music and try and do something to entice or to elicit rather a reaction or a feeling rather than just the most ham-fisted, lazy. Oh, I hate the music. I hate it so much. And it didn't help. I was sitting here with headphones watching this as well. Yeah, I want to talk about the opening a little bit.
Before we leave the credits, little piece of info. We don't normally speak about the cinematographers, but this was shot by Robert Elswit, who I know primarily as the long-standing cinematographer of one Paul Thomas Anderson. So like they've kind of had something of a falling out because now Paul Thomas Anderson, like, he shot his last two films himself, and he's kind of said some
Mhm.
things like, yeah, I don't really need a DP. And like Ellsworth made some mildly like passive aggressive comments about Phantom Thread, saying like, well, personally I wouldn't have shot it like that. So there's a little thing.
I'd have shot it like Gigli.
Yeah, there's little things here and there that suggest a little bit of bad blood. And anyway, when that relationship ended, Ellsworth went off and shot the King of Staten Island, like the Pete Davidson
Okay.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I don't know, just like,
So who's winning?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
who's
Parting
right?
ways with one of the greatest directors of all time, and now you're shooting
Yeah.
Pete
It's
Davidson.
the it's a Simon and Garfunkel split, isn't it? I will say as well, the cinematography is probably one of the better aspects of this film. I don't think it was too insulting. It isn't
It's
anything
bland. It's
extravagant.
not.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's not
boring film
bad,
though.
but yeah,
It's I mean, with what you can do, most of them are in a room for 90 minutes. There's nothing exciting, but it's not,
it's competent. Yeah, it looks fine.
it's competent. That's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah, that's exactly it. Anyway, finally, the fucking opening.
Hmm.
So Ben Affleck is almost breaking the fourth wall. He's speaking straight to the camera, and I like this. Okay, right. So like
Yeah.
as always, I get suckered in because I've got low expectations and a low bar.
Yeah.
And he's talking, and someone walks past as well in the background, and he's like, "Can't you see I'm busy here? I'm working here." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm intrigued." And then the reveal is that he is trying to shake down money from a man who's in a tumble dryer, a
Yeah.
drying machine or washing machine. And I liked it. I really did like it. I hated it how the guy inside acted as if he'd he'd lost his wallet or something. He had showed no emotion and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was alarm bells. But I liked the idea,
Yeah.
and already I was shooting in my head. I was like, I can see this being Steve Buscemi or
Yeah.
something, in a Tarantino, and it's just I'm already writing my own film in my head, and I was getting excited. And I was also intrigued by Ben Affleck's performance because
Mm-hmm.
this is where I was tying it in. So I'm going to get this off the bat. He's basically playing John Travolta throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so like I'm getting here, I'm getting Buscemi, I'm gonna go with this. There's gonna be a lot of dialogue. I'm gonna make my Tarantino film, and I'm gonna see Travolta in my head.
Yeah.
So like for the whole film, I was like, okay, and like you said, it's a film where he kind of gets assigned by a mobster to do a job to kidnap a prosecutor's brother,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I can see this being a Vega brother story, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be my little spin off of Pulp Fiction. So when a certain scene happens later, I did mark the fuck out.
Yeah.
I got so excited, and so I was like, oh no, it's true, it's coming true. So it's just for this one little moment, and then it came crashing down
Yeah.
because the title for the film came up, and it is literally just fucking like Ariel, like white on black. It
Yeah.
is like Windows Movie Maker.
Mhm.
It reminded me, like, I was thinking at the time, like The Room is obviously notorious, everyone loves The Room, but it looks professional at the start almost,
Yeah.
and it almost knows how to put a little bit of effort. This is so fucking lazy. And then the music kicking in, the font, and I was like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. And then um, this is when I messaged you 10 minutes in. I was like, I fucking hate this
Yeah.
because I knew it was 2 hours long as well, and it wasn't going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be something different. I knew it wasn't going to be this schmaltzy rom com chasing Amy bullshit that I kind of expected, but almost wished it was. But yeah, that's my opening. It's just my first like 5 minutes of experience. I just yeah, wild ride.
So you were expecting Tarantino. I would say the reference point for me was Something Wild, the Jonathan Demme film, where I was like, okay, it's going to be this kind of like screwball comedy, whatever. The comparison, which I would say is most apt, how I imagine they pitched this was, it's Sopranos Rain Man. Because
yeah. I get that. I see that. I think it was. I mean, I think that's what I was seeing. I was seeing more of a In Bruges or something
yeah,
in my
yeah.
head. They were gonna get that, two con men, two out, criminals, kind of just like Sopranos. The best episodes of Sopranos where there's just dialogue heavy, back and forth, character development. The story's not that important.
Yeah.
This is someone. This felt like it was made by someone who had watched that but didn't understand it. And it's just madness. But anyway, continue.
This is like pretty surprising. We should acknowledge this now because ordinarily, like sometimes Razzie winners are people taking a big step up or people without much pedigree or whatever. But the director of Gigli, Martin Brest, is a guy who like he made like Scent of a Woman, he made like Beverly Hills Cop, he made Midnight Run. This is a guy who like knows how to make a movie, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we got. Because so the Rain Man comparison, let's just deal with this up front. We've got our leads, Gigli and then Jennifer Lopez. And then the third lead to this film is Justin Bartha, Doug from The Hangover, or the guy from
Instantly, yeah.
the guy from National
Instantly.
Treasure. um, and he's the brother. Like he's the brother that they kidnap who is mentally challenged.
Yes.
And so Gilles scoops him up from a diner and just kind of takes him away. And and the brother, what's the brother's name? The brother's
Brian.
name is Brian. Of course, Brian. How could I forget? So Brian's thing is the Baywatch. He wants to go to
Yeah.
the Baywatch.
The Baywatch.
The
It's not like
Baywatch,
the
yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the place. It's like we're going to the
Yeah.
Baywatch. That's the location.
Yeah, because he says not the TV, not the TV.
No,
He's smart
no.
enough to know
Yeah,
that.
don't take me for some kind of fool. We're going to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Baywatch. You're not going to show me an episode of Baywatch. We're going to the Baywatch. And Ben Affleck's like, hey, yeah, cool. Let's go to the Baywatch. And off they go. My notes for this film are very sparse, so I don't have anything until Christopher
I have
Walken.
5.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So basically, like you said, a lot of this movie takes place in rooms. So
Mhm.
Gilles kidnaps Brian and takes him back to his apartment. And then Jennifer Lopez turns up and is like, hey, I'm going to babysit you, babysitting Brian.
Mhm.
And then Christopher Walken turns up for
Just it
one
comes in,
scene.
one scene, steals the show.
Does he? Does he really?
He does for me. He was my highlight because you know, again, because I was writing my Pulp Fiction spin-off in my head, and
Yeah,
Jennifer Lopez was Samuel L. Jackson to me, and there were just
yeah.
Brian was a briefcase. I was just making it up in my head. Um, I was like, okay, he's coming. He's got a watch. I'm so happy. I liked it. I like his introduction. I liked him. When he was, you got to get thinner walls, Gigli or
Yeah.
something, and
I can hear
he
you. Your door's
yeah,
too thin. I can hear you. Can't pretend not to be in because your
and
door.
he also comes in and fucking speeds the plot up. He drops all
Yeah.
my exposition.
Because he's a
Okay,
cop, isn't he? He's
he's a
like a.
cop.
You
He's a
better
cop,
not
and he's
be
like,
hiding a brother of a federal prosecutor around here, otherwise you're gonna be in big trouble, Jiggly.
And I was like, great. And he's saying, you can't get your boss off the hook this way. It's all good.
Yeah.
We got we're gonna get you to like get out. And I was like, great. I got so excited for 2 seconds because I thought we were gonna get a nice cat and mouse. I was getting my Heat
Yeah.
remake in my head going on about Gigli walking. I was so excited, and I realized walking wasn't billed.
Yeah.
It like clicked in my brain, and I was like, "Oh no, don't leave the room, please, just stay as long as you
I'm
can."
just imagining you clinging onto his ankles, being like,
I was,
please, Christopher,
have a cup of
don't go,
tea,
don't go.
please. Have a cup of tea, please.
I need to change the door. Do you mind helping me out with that?
So it's my peak, and this is, I don't know how long we're into this film. The film's merged together in my brain already because nothing happens for 2 hours.
I have Walken's speech written down here because
Good.
it is like, I don't know, like Christopher Walken's notorious for his weird inflections and line readings, but even this is insane for him. Like, delivers one of the this is a film with a lot of speeches, and I think this is the first one where I was compelled to write all of it down.
Good.
Man, you know what I'd love to do right now? Go down to Marie Callender's, get me a big bowl, pie, some ice cream on it. Good. Put some on your head. Your tongue would slap your brains out trying to get to it. And rest it? Like, it's truly bizarre.
Is it ad-libbed? Did he just waltz in? I was, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It was fun for me. It was great to see it.
Yeah.
Again, I had no idea, and the dread I had at this point, it was just going to be Doug from The Hangover and Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. I was so fucking worried because I knew, I can't remember Gilet's boss, immediate boss, his name. So we'll just call him Mafiosa, number one.
We'll call him Tony.
Call him Tony. And I was like, he's going to be on the phone. I knew it, because he's going to get one scene at the start.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm dreading it. It's going to be these two. And the reason I was dreading this so much is because Jennifer Lopez is fucking dreadful. She's I want okay, if you got more to say, I'm gonna get it off my chest because maybe it's a character thing as well. Like maybe I haven't seen Lopez in enough, maybe.
Have you seen Hustlers?
I have not seen Hustlers. This is 2003 Jennifer Lopez as well. She's still Jenny from the block for me. and maybe it's a character thing, but her playing like this criminal above my John Travolta Ben Affleck is such a weird miscasting for me. It's when like there's a scene around about this time where he's being mean to Brian, he's calling him the R word, he's pushing him about.
Yeah.
And she tries to threaten, say, like, stop it or I'll kill you. And I was like, will you? Like, or will you? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I don't think she deserved her 12 million. I don't think she earned it. And I was dreading it throughout the whole film. Not that Affleck was great either. I'm not standing here and defending Affleck. But yeah, I was so worried the three of them was going to be in the room for an hour and a half.
Yeah, she's not great, but the thing that just stood out to me, and we'll deal with this a bit more later on, is just the astounding lack of chemistry between the two of them. When
100%.
The whole thing is like they were an actual couple at this point in time, and notoriously so. And like the whole movie is sort of meant to be built on this simmering sexual tension, which was just completely absent because
Well,
they
that's what I was thinking as well, and I was reminded of it's the Brad Pitt, Angelina, Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Smith,
is
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, I can't remember. They cooked up on that film, I believe, and I
yeah.
remember thinking if you were like Billy Bob Thornton or
Jennifer
Jennifer
Aniston.
Aniston, you would be fucking dreading it watching that film
Yeah,
because you know something's going on.
yeah.
Here, though, you would never have guessed. Never in a million years. Jennifer Gardner's like, that's all right. There's nothing going on here.
Yeah. So the thing I was going to interrupt you with is before we say goodbye to Christopher Walken, I was actually trying to throw you a bone there before he walks out the door never to return. There are production notes for the film where people speak about Martin Brest, and
Okay.
Christopher Walken's are quite insightful. Marty gives you plenty of chances to do your best. It's hard when you go home at night and think, I wish we had that extra take because I could have done it differently or better or whatever. With Marty, every night I went home thinking, I don't know whether it was good, but I certainly did get a chance to do my best. So
Okay.
Martin Brest apparently shoots a million takes, which
Okay.
just
Because I was,
makes that Walken thing all the more like it's your Simpsons thing of like,
yeah.
that was the best one.
I was going to call him out there when he said, every night. Because I was like, there's no way you were on set more than an hour. No way. But yeah, okay, if there's a million, that's bizarre,
Was
though.
he was Walken's not in Midnight Run or Scent of a Woman, is he? Like, I wonder if this is a favor to an old pal. And he's speaking
Maybe,
about like
maybe.
their relationship of working with him on another thing. Because yeah, I agree. This just like maybe that's why his line reading is so insane, is because this was the thousandth take, and he was just desperately trying to see like, okay, what if I emphasize this word? What if I put the
Hmm.
inflection here? But yeah, no
Well,
performances.
direct him then, like fucking hell, like
No performances are
Jesus.
good here. I have another quote for you. My brother is a federal prostitutor.
Okay, I think I missed that. I think I missed that.
Brian says because they hide Brian in the bedroom when Walken's there,
Oh
and then
yeah,
he
yeah,
just comes out.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, my brother is a federal prostitutor," and then they're off in the car to go somewhere. Where doesn't really matter. And we get another speech about the Baywatch because J Lo hasn't
Mhm,
heard about the Baywatch,
mhm.
but he speaks about the Baywatch yet again, and like the way he speaks about the Baywatch, it's a bit like Lenny in Of Mice and Men. The Baywatch to him is the fat of the land. Like he's
Yeah.
speaking about like, oh, the Baywatch, like the sun always shines on the Baywatch, and in the Baywatch everything will be better.
Hmm.
And then he quietly concludes, I think that's where the sex is.
Well, again, I think I don't know if it's before it when he's on the phone as well. He's obsessed with is it the weather in
later,
Australia?
later, later, later.
No, is it? Okay, I
Yeah,
thought
this
it was
comes. I've got a
earlier.
note for this.
Okay, like I know it comes up again.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a recurring thing again.
We
This
can yeah we can speak about it
movie.
now if you want. He
No, no,
Brian
no, yeah,
Brian
just
calls
whatever.
the Australian weather line, and Ben Affleck's like, hey buddy, you gotta stop doing that. You calling England? He's like, no, I'm not calling England. I'm calling Australia. Well, you're racking up my bill. He's like, oh, I like the sound of her voice, and then he's like, okay, just try and keep it short. Um,
Is it well? Because I almost laughed at the line because when he's like, "Do you know how much that cost me?"
yeah.
He's like, $5, and he's like, $10, and I was like, okay, you thinking the phone. I was like, okay, there could be something here. There could be something funny here. If you again, a lot of this felt like there was no script.
Oh
Like
no,
this
I,
is a
I I completely disagree. Maybe no script, but like the speeches are so overwritten.
no,
Like it's
no,
maybe
the
like you had
speeches
six
are.
speeches and we'll just improv
That's
to
what I mean.
from one
That's
to
what I
the
mean.
other.
Everything else is just. Oh,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm meaning. Like any of the long monologues and speeches, 100%. Everything else though is just we'll kind of improvise on stage, and
Yeah.
again, with 1,000 takes, I can see it. Like we'll just get it until it works. We'll just keep doing it until something makes sense. Because I don't know where they were going in the car either. Now that you've said it, I can't remember why they leave.
They're taking
I think
him. It's like
I think
it's a
I think they're
Lebowski
spooked
thing.
about. Yeah, and they're spooked by walking.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
some reason to move, but yeah, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I have another note. Another bright spark for me is Todd Giebenhain, who is Richie from Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if you recognized him.
I did not. I did not.
He's Francis's scuzzball friend
Okay.
who, when he runs away from military school, he's like, he moves in with Richie in his basement and like it's horrible. And there's an episode where Richie terrorizes the boys and like, yeah, Richie's like one of the scuzzball Francis friends. And
Okay.
he's really good at playing a scuzzball and he's in this. And so he was maybe my walk-in where I was like, oh, cool, it's Richie. And
Yeah. Who's he again?
so they stop over for some food or something at the diner and he
Oh
threatens
yes.
them or he
Yeah,
bullies
yeah,
them
yeah.
or he like, yeah, he calls someone
He's
a
not the one
slur.
with the boombox, so is it?
Maybe I can't. I'll tell you. He's
There's,
the one who J Lo threatens with the 5 point palm exploding heart technique.
yeah, and then Ben Affleck snaps a
Yeah,
laptop
yeah,
in
yeah,
half.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a
he
weird fucking scene.
he does something, and then J Lo goes over to him and threatens him with a 5 point palm exploding heart technique,
Mhm.
where she's like, you know, that there's a Chinese martial art where you can enter the brain through the eye socket and rip out
Yeah.
your eyes. And it will tear out like your optic nerve, and it will just remove all sort of visual memories from your brain, so you will forget
Mhm.
what everything you've
And
ever seen. She's like, it's the
this is
rip
when I
that takes the
when
past.
when this was happening, and it's the way she delivered. Because again, I'm seeing Uma Thurman, Kill Bill's in my head. It's
Yeah,
2003. With that like blank stare right through you that
yeah,
you genuinely shit yourself and be terrified of it. But no, she just saunters up and
yeah,
just reads her lines, and
yeah,
suddenly they're all terrified of her. And I was
yeah,
like, come on to fuck, like.
yeah.
And then I don't know why they had a laptop either. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know what's
they're
going
they're
on at
they're
this
going to
point.
college, Kyle. They're going to college and they're working on their grades. But this is like your standard like rom-com moment of like, oh, she's not like other girls. Like she can mix it with the fellas. Because Gillet likes that. And he's just kind of like, ooh, and he's like, oh, is that real? And she's like, nah, I just made it up. But he's kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, wow, she's tough. Maybe she could rip out my optic nerve. And then, so yeah, she's scared the shit out of them. And then Gillet does the hard man, saunters by, picks up their laptop, and he says, like, nice computer. Here, suckmydick.com, and breaks it up. Because, yeah, he's giving it the big licks of, yo, my girl's wicked smart. She's going to rip
Yeah.
out your eyes if you do anything. But, yeah, we
And
also.
I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Brian walks last behind them, and he
Yeah.
kind of saunters as well, which because they like put him in I think like a beanie disguise or something. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if we get into more wacky shenanigans, you could win me around, Gillet.
Yeah.
If they keep getting into hijinks and they don't just sit in rooms or cars for an hour, I'll be okay. But this is it. I mean, they're back in a room within the next scene,
In my wacky version of Gillet, Brian would actually do the technique. Like they would all walk by and they would be in the car, and then you just hear a scream, and then Brian would enter
Yeah.
with his eyes if he's actually done the.
My version is Brian would try and break the laptop and fail, and just put it down nicely or something.
So what we should have established by now is that J Lo is a lesbian
Mhm.
because 6 years after Chasing Amy, we are getting another film where Ben Affleck turns a lesbian straight. And I hate that I'm gonna fucking do this, but I'm actually gonna defend Chasing Amy because everyone bills Chasing Amy as Ben Affleck turns a lesbian straight, whereas they're not like super clear on they're just like, oh, she's bisexual and has slept with women. Like they're not super descriptive or
Mhm.
prescriptive rather with that. It's just a bit 90s kind of like we were much more keen on labeling, putting people in boxes. So watching Chasing Amy now, you're like, this isn't quite as in this one aspect, this isn't quite as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
Mhm.
Whereas this I think is very much like, I am a lesbian, I hate men, I hate
Yeah.
all men, and
Yep, massive speech as well. I think she goes into great detail about why she hates men and how useless they are. And
well, Ben
this is
Affleck tells her, he's like, you
it's my
know,
one note.
I think you're just a lesbian because guys didn't know how to bring home the pearls when they were diving for oysters, you know? Oh no, maybe that's her that says that. Anyway, someone
No,
uses
he does. He
yeah,
does.
okay,
He
okay.
does.
And he makes a compelling sales pitch which is another big speech. Because, like I said, this movie's just people giving speeches at each other. And so he's like, nature has evolved man for pleasing a woman. That's why lesbians go out and spend all their dough on appliances, erotic monkey wrenches. The penis, its very design tells you all you need to know.
I had my so my note here is because when they're staying over, when she's sleeping over, and he, like, a gentleman offers half his bed
Yeah.
to her, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be the move, and he has a proper John Travolta moment in the shower,
Yeah.
and he's flexing, and I was like, hang on, like, it'd be quite funny if he was gay. And it's because he did this big speech
Yeah.
as well
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
being, there's bulls and cows,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, the twist is Gilly's going to be gay, and that's going to be something there. So no, 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 no. I totally got it wrong.
Oh,
Jennifer Lopez was.
we're getting all out of whack here, but might as well deal with not John Travolta, Ben Affleck being gay, because that comes up later in the film. So, third act, they fucked by this point in time, and J-Lo discovers that Ben Affleck looks at his nails from afar,
Oh yes, yes. I forgot
sort
about
of
this.
hand extended, rather than the masculine way of making a claw and looking at them up close. And he's like, I'm nearsighted, like I can't see. And so she asks him, like, are you gay? And this, I think, is the third movie we've watched where someone has asked explicitly, are you gay? It happens in 50 Shades. It happens in something else, I think. But in those exact words, a character is asked, are you gay? And I wrote down, it would rule so fucking hard if he was gay. Like, that would make this film. It's been terrible, but I'm like, if he's just like, you know what, I am. It took me, like, sleeping with you to realize, but, like, yeah, I've been harassing you the whole movie, haranguing you, and now that I'm there, turns out I'm gay. Because they have these weird speeches where it's a bit like, oh, men are from Mars and women are from Venus or whatever. Like, they're like, it's like they've been reading too much Jordan Peterson of, like, the female energy is chaos and the dragon, whereas the man with the sword of honor and the split saber. Because he gives his big spiel about the penis, and I have the quote, I think it's pretty cool. I think that might be what he says.
Well,
And
this
then,
is why. Yeah, this is why.
and then we hand over to J-Lo, who's like, no, the penis is like some bizarre sea slug. Or she's like a long thumb or a long finger or something,
Well, yeah,
isn't she?
and then she's talking about why you want to kiss the mouth,
Yeah.
and it's cousin.
No.
And I was
No,
like,
it's
no, you got it quoted.
the mouth is the twin sister of the
Twin
vagina.
sister. Okay.
And so, yeah, we get these big sort of ideological battles of symbolism and metaphor and what it is to, like, what each sexuality represents. And gay guys are kind of fucked over. Like, there's no discussion of what it is to be gay. Like, they're kind of shafted, not literally. But, like, so if Ben Affleck got that moment to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, I fucking love guys, I love guys fucking me. I love fucking guys because that's two masculines and too it's strong, women, they're whatever. They're like, yeah, anyway. But alas, he is not gay. If you're waiting for
No.
that twist, then
Yeah, no. So I like that's just for this moment, especially when he was in the shower, like prepping himself, and he comes out in a John Travolta bathrobe, like a satin one as well.
yeah.
I thought, oh, that's funny. Because again, like, as much as I don't think anyone's giving good performances, there was a slight aspect to Affleck's performance that was he made me laugh the most, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know how intentional. I don't know what the tone is. I don't know if this is a comedy or a crime drama or a rom-com or whatever the fuck it's meant to be. But he probably made me, like, at least smile the most. I'm not going to say laugh. That's far too generous because I hated this fucking thing. I need to keep reinforcing that. I fucking hate it. So yeah, where are we? Like, I don't even know where we are in the plot.
Well, there isn't really a plot, so I just have, like, a bunch of notes about things people say. So Brian gets his chance to pay tribute to the penis, where he reveals that he says, God bless you, penis, when the penis sneezes.
Yes.
And
so I'm going to interrupt you because I've got to ask something here.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, before you quote, because you could be above me. When did they go see Ben Affleck's mom?
oh, this has happened. I glossed over that, I think.
Okay. Like, so that annoyed the piss out of me.
Yeah.
That brought any momentum or any fun to a fucking grinding halt.
I'm
Because
glad that you thought there was momentum at some
well,
point.
no. Because because I'm just sometimes naive and sometimes I'm just blissfully optimistic at times. I thought Christopher Walken's popped in and out.
Yeah.
Who's next? You know,
Yeah.
like and I was right. There was going to be someone I was going to enjoy for a
Yeah.
brief moment in
Hooah.
time.
Yeah.
But I was like, he's going to maybe on his road trip journey where they've got to keep this hostage, they're
Yeah.
going to go see someone else. You know, we're gonna go beat to beat. We're gonna go
I
see
guess he Bo
I don't.
Derek.
We're gonna go see Bo Derek, see what she's up to. You know, what's Pia Zadora doing?
I got a
and I
friend who's
got
a wicked smart screenwriter.
and I was like, okay, great. It's his mum, who I don't know the actress's name. You probably do know where she's from. And then I don't know what happens between meeting his mum for some reason, and where she also says she had a lesbian experience in her younger days, and then the crazy ex girlfriend of Jennifer Lopez appearing at the flat, apartment, whatever. I don't know what happens in between then. Nothing.
Well, Brian has his penis speech, which I just want to go back to because that was like, I was like, I'm just watching Simple Jack. Like, I'm watching Simple Jack when he's like, God bless you, penis, when the penis sneezes. I watch head movies, only this head movie makes my eyes rain. I was like, Brian just is Simple Jack. That's
Yes,
what we're watching.
he very
Simple
much
Jack
is.
from Tropic Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what makes his penis sneeze is when Robin turns up. So Robin is J Lo's partner, and this is like a fucking insane scene because is this just like the bitches be crazy scene?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, 100%,
she
100%.
she just turns up out of nowhere and is like, "You're fucking him, aren't you? You're straight. You're straight. I'm gonna
Yeah.
kill you. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna like
We're gonna have a threesome.
yeah
No, it goes from you. I've been stalking you.
yeah
You're actually straight.
yeah
You're sleeping with him. Let's all sleep together. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill myself.
yeah
And that's within like
that."
2 minutes. It's just non-stop.
The
And
most
Brian's there
stereotypical
talking.
Depiction of lesbians imaginable, just
I
crushingly insecure and paranoid, and yeah,
and it's just where I was like, this is why I was like, there's a 5 page there's speeches that he's wrote out in an idea, but like this character is only so they can get to the next location. Like I knew as soon as I
I don't
seen
know. I
it.
think she's there to close the door on lesbianism because
Well,
she like
mm,
even before I can't remember what stage Robin flips out, but like at some point J Lo is just like it's over. Like I feel like it's very early on. She's like it's over. I was like I feel like you wouldn't like, if this was like a long term partner, you would kind of just be like we'll talk about
no,
this later or whatever.
because they've already been told about they've already been told by their boss that they need to send Brian's thumb to the prosecutor,
Yeah. You want a toe? I
right?
can get you a
So
toe.
when Robin tries to kill herself and they go to the
Yeah.
hospital, that's the excuse that Jennifer Lopez can go
Oh,
to the
okay.
morgue
Yeah,
and
you're
steal a
right.
thumb.
You're right.
So it
Yeah.
was only reason, like I can see the writer being like, shit, we need to get a thumb. How do I get a thumb? Where do
Yeah.
we go? She needs to go to a morgue. How do I get to a morgue?
Yeah.
Her crazy ex-girlfriend shows up and cuts her and tries to kill herself in front of
Yeah.
them, and then
Yeah.
boom, we go to a hospital. Hospitals have morgues, don't they? You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, sure. It's on a different floor. Like it's all just to move things along. It might be maybe on a deeper level. It is to close the door on lesbianism.
No, you're right. You're
I
right. It's
I
just
think it's
plot
just to
A to
move it.
B. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. It's I
and
can
I
get you a thumb. I can get you a thumb.
I
But
was so fucking annoyed because you could do quite a lot. This is also like missed potential where I'm like, you could have done something. I was like, oh, would you could have discussed it more. I was like, I could have seen a scene where Ben Affleck maybe thought about cutting his own thumb off, or maybe they did try and cut off Brian, or like they were going to do something. How do you get a thumb?
yeah.
Like I can get you a thumb in 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
there must be characters they can go see a wacky character they know that
Yeah.
can get them a thumb.
John
Like
Goodman's here as Walter
John Goodman
Sobchak. Yeah.
can get you exactly. There's stuff that could happen. Like it didn't just need to be moved along for
No, because Ben
convenience
Affleck has
sake.
to go and give his mum a shot in the ass.
Oh,
Um,
just oh
And so he introduces her to his mother, and that's where he's kind of falling for her. And we get a bit of a downer. he's in the car and he's sad, and this is where we get another speech. And so J-Lo is like, why are you so sad? It's like, you know why I'm sad? Because I got this beautiful, sexy, gorgeous, heartthrobberama, fucking smart, amazing, bombshell, 17 on a fucking 10 scale girl sleeping in bed right next to me. But you know what? She's a stone cold dyke. A fucking untouchable, unhavable, unobtainable brick wall, fucking Dikosaurus rexi. So it's sad.
I'm very glad you wrote these down.
I transcribed these. This is poetry.
I remembered 17 out of 10. That was the only part
Yeah.
I forgot. But I forgot Dikosaurus Rex. So like
Yeah.
it shows how mashed my brain was at this point.
Yeah, 17 on a 10 scale. I actually went back and played it because I noted down 17 on a 10 scale, and I was like, that's good. I'm going to start rating that. Like, she's not a 20 on a 10 scale. Let's be reasonable.
That's how I'm going to rate these Razzie movies from now on. You know?
But when I heard more of the speech, I was like, I need to go back, and the whole thing is worthy. Because, yeah, like, I don't know, the speeches in this movie are just terrible. I don't think I consciously made the Tarantino connection until you pointed it out, but yeah, that's for sure what they're trying to do, I guess.
Trying to do, yeah. If you didn't think it out, if you didn't, you think if we were doing something, if writers or someone were doing something, you'd sit and talk it out. How do humans talk? How do people talk? Okay, maybe that's stupid. Maybe they don't talk like this. Let's change that. Like,
yeah, like stylized speeches are great. Like Tarantino's not hardly like naturalistic dialogue.
No.
But someone's
like,
watched this and just been like, "Oh yeah, great, okay."
Yeah, I can do that. I'll just write one. Yeah,
it's like,
it's one vision, it's one voice, and it's a bad voice.
It's like a mutual friend of ours who is a writer and who just uses like a billion synonyms. Like, before him was a big, gigantic, colossal, looming, titanic obelisk. But yeah, it's just word vomit. Like, just throwing, like, there is zero restraint from this film. And that brings us on to my next quote. It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble.
Oh my god. All right. Oh my god. I'm glad you got it. It's my last note apart from Pacino arriving at the end.
Yeah.
I genuinely laughed out loud.
Yeah.
At first it was shock. Like, it's turkey time. And, Jennifer Lopez's line. And I looked like Ben Affleck did. And he was like, what's happening? What are you on about? And I was like, okay, like, And then when she went, it's gobble, gobble. That's when I laughed. I was like, it was... And I'm sure I've heard it before. I'm sure I've heard it referenced before.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's maybe just, it's a notoriously bad line that's been picked up and used in other things.
Yeah.
But like something in my brain clicked as soon as she said it's turkey time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's a bad fucking line.
The most erotic invitation to oral sex ever. Yeah, it's turkey time.
This is one of the most
gobble.
unerotic films ever, though. Like, we've covered a lot of bloody erotic shit on this stupid podcast, but this is so absolutely, like you said, with no chemistry. It is, I don't know, like you said, it was a Beverly Hills director, Beverly Hills Cop, right? So he's going to be at least,
and he's called
mid-40s.
Breast. He should be more erotic than this.
It's pronounced Bray, like way. Like, he must be mid-40s, 50s, even at this point. 20 years after Beverly Hills, probably. Unless he did it when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
I feel like he's an older or middle-aged man anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, how did Jennifer Lopez not even say, like, can we change it? We've done 1,000 takes of this.
Yeah.
Like, why?
This is the perfect example of, like, the rumored Harrison Ford quote of, like, George, you can write that shit, but you can't say it. Because, you would think seasoned actors would be like, can we work on this a little bit? Like, can we just kind of, play with this a little?
We've got 1,000 takes. Let's try 3 takes with something different. That's not a bad ratio. Maybe he was because he did direct it, and maybe it was his passion project. I have no idea. Genuinely though, cringed. There's no other word for it as well. My skin crawled. So bizarre, but a genuine laugh out loud. So one laugh.
Well, my laugh was when Uncle June Gigli, who'd been given it the big licks, no pun intended, earlier on, suddenly gets like cold feet. Like he'd be like,
Hmm.
you know what the problem with you women is? You don't know how to eat it like a guy does. You know,
Hmm.
we're just genetically made. And then she's like, okay, come on then. He's like, oh, well, you know,
Well,
I,
but
it's a
that's
very
the point.
dry and my mouth's kind
It's
of,
it's meant to be because she's a strong woman and she's
yeah.
intimidating to him. But to me, it was just like he was so repulsed by the words that came out of her mouth. He was like, no, 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 no. Second thoughts.
Like,
14 out of 10 now. Like we're knocking you down a bit.
again, with like actors who had chemistry, could be like a kind of fun scene. Like, I don't know, like, I'm just going to my default, like, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in Crazy Stupid Love or whatever. Like, you could think like actors with better chemistry could make that kind of flirtatious back and forth, willy, whatever work. But here it's
Hmm.
just like, please, Martin, cut to the next scene. I do not want to watch this
Please.
anymore. Get me out of this. And so they fuck, and then we get straight into Mr. Al Pacino, Dunkachino, who, like, I'm assuming this is a favor to Martin because he won
Yeah.
him the Oscar for Scent of a Woman. He turns up. I think he looks like Michael Douglas at this point in time.
I was genuine because it took me a little second. I mean, it's
Yeah,
2003 Pacino as well.
yeah,
He's got no tie. His tie's like disheveled and
yeah,
undone.
yeah.
And I thought he was wearing a wig, or a hairpiece. And I was like, but you're Pacino. You don't need a hairpiece. So yeah, it's very Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
He is in full.
Let me give you a
He's the
few
boss.
pointers, Jiggly.
He.
Don't eat her out or it'll give you throat cancer. Sorry.
He's the boss. He's the head boss of Tony, Louis, whatever the fuck his name is. So he's the one that the prosecutor was coming down on, and he's the one they're trying to keep out of jail. And he is in full Pacino mode. And again, I
Yeah,
forget 2003 Pacino, where
yeah,
there's a few lines at the start where slightly reserved,
yeah.
slightly
she got
and
a
then
great ass.
he is screaming. He is full pelt. I really did like, however, this was the only possible, apart from the opening shot. I really like it when he kills Louis, Tony, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
he's called, and then sits next to him.
yeah.
I really like that shot because again, I could see that in another film that's better. I could see it. I really like the framing of it was quite nice. Cinematographer again, maybe
Yeah.
Paul Thomas, his boy, not Paul Thomas himself. And like I was like, okay, this is something I can deal with this. And also I liked Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez acting here
Yeah.
because they genuinely looked shocked. They genuinely looked a bit
Yeah.
concerned. Like there was physical and performances out of them. So I will give credit for Pacino's scenes, but not Pacino's performance. Like if that makes sense.
My Paul Thomas Anderson reference is that this is Boogie Nights when they go to Alfred Molina's house and he's coked out and shoots Thomas Jane, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? And
Mm-hmm.
shit just gets real. Of like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like a whoa, what's happened
Mm-hmm.
here? Like, just, yeah. Suddenly the tone of the movie has changed. No one has actually died, and suddenly foot on the gas. And because he's like,
100%.
I forget the quote from Glengarry Glen Ross, but it's when Kevin Spacey fucks up and Pacino like tears him limb from limb.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You dumb fucking bastard!
Mm-hmm.
Like, you dumb fucking guy! Why'd you kidnap a federal prosecutor's brother? I'm gonna have to kill you, bozos!" And
Mm-hmm.
then J Lo talks him down,
Talks him
um,
down.
and then
which
that's
is which didn't make. I mean, again, Pacino's a bit easily cowed here as well. Like
yeah,
he's it's like I was like, oh, like like you do know the Federal brothers, not of he's mentally challenged. He's not
yeah.
like I don't think he isn't of sound mind to give away their.
He's not gonna testify in court.
I don't think it's gonna stick. I don't think he's gonna. He might remember Larry or a name,
Your
but she's got
Honor,
a fake name.
Your Honor, permission to approach the stand. He thinks the Baywatch is a real place.
I was like, so I didn't, I was like, challenged them. I was like, Pacino, just shoot them. Please, just
Yeah,
shoot
yeah,
them. Please, please. Or one of them, like, give me something. Because I knew Pacino's only here, he's Harrison Ford in his pajamas again. He's not gonna be hanging around. This is a favor. This is a borrowed set. it looked like he's going to be one and done,
Yeah.
and then we are done as well. We are literally fucking done. Once they're out of here, they're driving again.
Yeah, they're driving and job done, and so they see the Baywatch. Like conveniently enough, they see the Baywatch. They see a film shooting with women in bathing suits running along the beach, a movie shooting, and so Brian is like, "It's the Baywatch, finally." I've got
Yeah.
nothing for this. I have been luggage. I've been a briefcase for this entire film, but finally, it's Brian's moment in the sun. Drop me off at the Baywatch. And so rather than returning him to where they took him from, they just kind of dump him by the side of the road.
Dump him on a beach, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the extras in the Baywatch is Australian. And so,
Conveniently.
yeah, they hit it off and he recites the weather to her. And then Gigli and JLo drive off and they kind of have a brief, like, oh, you know what, it was nice, but like, whatever. Then they get back together. End.
Well, that's it. It's so stupid because as well, like Gile's like, take my car and leave me here by the side of the road, and I was like, it's not her car. Like, it's the police are gonna like they're gonna find the fucking anyway. And then she just they do the fake out where she's driving and she returns to pick him up so they can go off into the sunset together. But it was so contrived, and I was like, what was your like? Did he want to give himself up? Did he want to get caught? This is such a fucking weird ending.
Yeah.
It's anticlimactic to something that no matter what was going to be anticlimactic. It was. I only remembered as well that I think there's a final line where he's like, "Oh, you decided to hop the fence or jump the fence,"
Yeah.
so you're straight now. And that's it. That's it. This is worse. This is worse than Chasing Amy. You're so fucking right there.
Yeah, it's not good. And then we get we get a callback, I think, of he says God bless you, and she's like, what? And he's just like he excuses his penis because his penis sneezes. He does a little callback to Brian's thing.
How romantic.
So while we're speaking about Kevin Smith, on IMDb trivia, it says Kevin Smith likes to tell stories about how whenever he and Ben Affleck are playfully ribbing one another, all Smith has to say to end the conversation is Chile. Which, okay, yeah, but don't be getting on your high horse, Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
Like, you've made,
no.
Chile is awful, but you've made yoga hosers, and Ben Affleck has one Gigli, and you have
I'm
million.
going to say this as well. This is probably Kevin Smith said this quote in 2004 or something.
He said this pre-cop out.
Yeah, he's not getting to say this now. Ben Affleck has all these Oscars. He has all. He doesn't matter anymore, does it?
Yeah, he's the phoenix from the ashes. So the awards this won: Worst Picture, of course. It won Worst Actor, Ben Affleck, for another couple roles. Won Worst Actress, Jennifer Lopez. Kind of spoke about them. Worst Supporting Actor, Al Pacino, and Christopher Walken. So Walken, I agree with. Walken is bad. Walken stinks.
I mean, he is. Right. I'm defending him because he was my highlight. He's barely supporting.
Yeah, you've kind of spoken about how Worst Supporting Cameo should be its own category or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like that's the only defense you can mount for him, in my opinion, is he isn't in it enough.
And he also steals that award from Brian from The Hangover, who should have probably won that. Is he nominated?
No,
See,
I actually thought Justin Bartha was kind of okay. Like, it's a thankless task. It's a thankless task, but
someone's got to do
it. Then, Worst Supporting Actress, Lainie Kazan was nominated. I thought that this was Robin, in which case I've said well deserved, but it's not. It's Ben Affleck's mum, who I don't think is as bad as Robin.
No, she's Robin. Yeah, she was way worse. And even then, like, she barely in it. It's just crazy little, like I say, move the fucking film along scene.
Yeah,
I would have let her off, even though she was terrible.
Yeah, and then we have Open and Shut, nailed on, Worst Screen Couple, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Because
could have been a throuple here, to be honest.
No, that I would agree with. Yeah, like we I don't know, we sort of differ on like you thinking that Ben Affleck's better than her, or whatever. Like, but 100% they are worse when they're together. Like the complete absence of any kind of chemistry is the most damning thing about both of their performances, I
Yeah.
think.
Sorry, there's more. Good, because
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And then it won Worst Director, Martin Brest,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Worst Screenplay.
Yes.
So
Okay. Okay. I almost thought he got off the hook there, and I was gonna rage out there, but they're, like we said 100 times, more than well deserved.
So it says somewhere that this was the first one to win like the top
A
five
clean sweep. Yeah.
Razzies. It's not the Silence of the Lambs thing where like it won all like it didn't win the supporting categories obviously, but picture, actor, actress, director, screenplay,
Yeah. Yeah.
sweep, first time to occur. And yeah, well deserved. Like this movie is very Razzie worthy. Nothing more to
A
say
hundred
really.
percent. Again, there's not much more to say. We've talked about how we could fix it, improve it. We've talked about everything here. I just have to say my final notes. This might be one of my least favorite Razzie films we've watched.
Wow.
I was thinking about. I think Transformers is the one I hate the most, and watching a coked up Republican for 2 hours was painful, but that doesn't count. This genuinely annoyed me because, again, like I said, I even underestimated the budget. I got so pissed off when I realized the stars in this and the money that was in it, and it was just pissed away. I got so annoyed.
Which is funny considering you're normally all about pissing things away on
Yeah, yeah, well,
indulgence. You're like, yeah, yeah, you know what? Like, give
but not.
give Josh Trank like $100 million to make an Al
To make a
Capone movie.
biblical
Yeah,
epic, make Caligula too,
exactly.
not Gigli.
This is so damning if Kyle is coming out being like a little bit of restraint, please.
You could have done this for 5 million and it would have made no. You could have had no names in it and it would be the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah,
If you're gonna get 75 million, piss it away properly.
yeah.
Like that's my final thoughts.
My smallest changes you can make, as you said, kind of mentioned them already. Ben Affleck being gay, that twist, that end, just like that would
That's
improve this
that's it.
immeasurably.
He drops Jennifer Lopez off at the
Yeah,
beach, and
yeah,
he's like, "Actually, yeah, I'm
yeah,
gay." So
yeah.
just drives off into the
I've been
sunset.
thinking about it. I'd never questioned my sexuality until you asked and you pointed out the nails thing. Oh, because that's the thing. She asks Brian. She's like, "Hey Brian, how are your nails?" And Brian does the masculine claw of order, whereas Ben Affleck does the far away feminine. Yeah. So yeah, that would be one. Another one. Tie this in to the Big Lebowski and just have Gigli go off with the nihilists to kidnap
hmm
Bunny Lebowski and cut off her toe,
hmm
or have him form like
Score.
a Kraftwerk. Like
Yep.
it's one of those things where there are a lot of changes you can make to improve this because it's pretty terrible in
It is
every
fucking
aspect.
terrible. Yeah.
But with regards to its Razzie worthiness, I don't think this was the worst film I saw from 2003. I don't think it was even in
I'm
the
excited
bottom
for this.
two films I've seen from 2003.
Okay.
And so we'll be covering this in the second half when we'll go through all of the other winners and nominees. So stay
Very
tuned for
excited.
that. And welcome to part 2 of the podcast where we cover all of the other winners and nominees. So, worst picture, other nominees, we had The Cat in the Hat. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
I have seen Cat in the Hat. I forgot that was. I thought it was 2004. Oh, have you? I take it you've seen Cat in the Hat.
I only watched it like last year. I watched it when I was
Okay.
sick, I think, and it was on some streaming service.
Okay. What's your thoughts on it?
It's an interesting attempt to try and replicate the success of The Grinch, which does not work at all. Like it's kind of interesting to look at, but
I
it's
think it's.
not
I
good.
think it's. I mean, other than Mike Myers' outfit, which is disgusting.
Oh,
I
nightmare fuel.
I agree. I agree with you to some extent. I think it's weird because it's so like immature and like it's not a Doctor Zeus script. It's so potty humor, I guess, is the word, and like
Yeah.
referencey compared to what like the Grinch is or any other adaptations. I don't like it. I haven't seen it since 2003, 2004, whenever it came out. But yeah, I forgot it was this year. I think Mike Myers probably, now I take it back, probably deserves the point over Ben Affleck.
Oh, really?
Already, I totally forgot, and yeah, I hate his performance in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's a valid one. I think it's still more interesting to look at, like you said, and than Gigli. So I will give it one more point.
Harking back to the Flintstones last week, it's one of those movies where like the production design is pretty impressive because I like the wacky visuals they come up with. And as you
Hmm.
said, like in humor and dialogue, they don't capture the vibe of Dr. Seuss, but they kind of do visually. If you exclude the weird like cats,
Yeah.
like weird cats, Mike Myers, horrible creature.
It's who's the bad guy in it again? Who's the villain?
Oh, bad guy is
It's someone. I can't remember. I
Baldwin,
can
Alec
see.
Baldwin.
Oh, it's Baldwin. That's who it is.
Yeah,
It's fucking Alec Baldwin. Yeah, okay. It's all coming back to me now.
because it's really interesting to look at. So I remember when I watched it, I was like, I would bet the house on this being connected to Pushing Daisies because it has a lot of stylistic overlap with that show. And the director works as a production designer for Barry Sonnenfeld, who sort of oversaw Pushing Daisies, and he directed a bunch of the series of Unfortunate Events series.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it
I can
kind of
see that.
has that like
Hmm.
sort of decadent, excessive visual style.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe we need to get a kid on because can we
Yeah,
judge this?
yeah,
Maybe if
yeah,
you're
that's
hyped up
it.
on sugar, you enjoy this more. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle.
Ooh, so I've seen this one. I think I get the first one and this one confused because I can
S-
see Bill Murray.
So do
Is
I.
this the one? Is this the one with Crispin Glover?
Yes, I thought I
Then
had seen I'd seen the Sam Rockwell one, which I thought was
the
Full Throttle, but it was in this is Full Throttle and Sam Rockwell isn't in it, so I hadn't seen
okay.
this, but
This
I
is
have
this is
now.
Crispin Glover as the
Yeah.
rapist, thin dude, skinny dude. Yeah. Um.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin
I've seen this.
Theroux as the IRA, like Cape Fear,
Yeah.
Max Caddy, like. And what's really weird is like Chris Pontius is like one of his henchmen.
Is he?
Like, yeah, Chris Hench, yeah, Party
Oh,
Boy is in Charlie's
it's
Angels.
wow. It's been a long time. I bet you though, if you click on it and look at it, I bet you it's cast because it's got a lot of cameos in it as well, doesn't it? Like
Carrie Fisher, Melissa McCarthy,
a young
yeah.
was.
John Cleese, I forgot, yeah. Bruce Willis,
There we go. See, I knew it. I knew
Robert
there was going to be.
Forster,
Yeah.
Pink,
See, like
Mary
it's
Kate
one.
and Ashley, yeah.
This could have swept the supporting actors or actresses. I don't enjoy it. I don't remember much. I remember Crispin Glover's performance is burned into my brain. I can barely remember the rest of it though. Is Bill Murray even in this one, or is it just
No,
the first one?
he's not. No, he's
Okay,
probably
see,
cashing the Garfield check right about now.
yeah, okay, see, this is where I've merged the films in my head, so I don't have a comment, but I have seen both of them. I just merged them together.
Well, speaking of merging films in your head, this is a striptease sequel because Demi Moore is in this. And spoiler alert, if you're going to watch Full Throttle, she murders Robert Patrick in cold blood. She gets her
Ah,
own back on the daddy.
nice.
They do
I wonder
execute
if that.
daddies in California.
I
Like she,
wonder if that was deliberate. I forgot Robert Patrick was even in it as well.
yeah.
Yeah, no, wonderful. I'd rather watch Charlie's Angels Full Throttle than Gigli and Cat in the Hat. So
Yeah, it's
there's
fun. It's
that.
fun. It's
Yeah,
like a blast.
yeah.
I dig it. It's not great, but it's a
No,
fun
no, no,
movie
no,
for
no, no.
sure.
Exactly. It's better than Gigli, 100%.
Then we have From Justin to Kelly.
Never heard of it.
So this is like I've heard From Justin to Kelly referenced constantly. It's one of those like I think it's like an American thing that didn't cross over because it's an American Idol movie starring
Uh,
Kelly Clarkson and the runner-up
okay.
Justin Guarini.
I've heard of Kelly Clarkson though, so
Yeah, because
that's
we had a
something.
co-worker who incessantly played nothing but Kelly Clarkson. So
Good.
yeah, very familiar
But
with
but not
since you've been
Justin.
gone.
What's his name though?
No, he didn't cross the pond. It's a spring break romance musical, and it is dreadful. Like they are like this might have some of the worst acting I've ever seen. I really hated
Okay.
watching this movie.
Is it actually a movie as well? Like
Yeah, it's
not
a
a.
movie as a plot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I would say From Justin to Kelly might be worse than
Yeah,
Gigli.
I probably believe that already. Like it might be shorter. That might be the only
Yeah,
thing.
like I feel a little bad because obviously like Ben Affleck and J Lo have more experience than Kelly Clarkson, But yeah, it's so atrociously bad
But
and
yeah,
not in a fun way.
you've got to be objective, don't you? You've got to like
Yeah.
you can't bring feelings into it. It's got to be
Listen, this
black and
80-year-old
white.
was the worst actor of the year, and I am not going to stand for it. And then we have a film which might even be worse than from Justin Kelly, The Real Cancun. Have you seen The Real
I've never
Cancun?
I've never even heard of this one either. It's two in a row I've never heard of.
So I don't know the context for this film's release, but this seems a little bit like Mr. Razzie testing out the waters for his bullshit because this is a documentary. This is an extended episode of reality television.
Okay, so
Like,
that's actually what I was thinking the American Idol was going to be.
yeah. So I watched those two back to back. Which is like a 3 hour long. So it's from the producers of The Real World, why it's The Real Cancun.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's a bunch of people, including like an 18-year-old incel who doesn't drink, go to Mexico for spring break. And it's just, yeah, it's just like it's just like a reality TV episode. And so watching it, I was like, why are you devaluing your awards ceremony,
Yeah.
Mr. Razzie, by including this nonsense? But I don't know. It was like distributed by New Line Cinema, so I don't know if it got like a big sort of publicized release, and that's
Yeah,
why I nominated it.
and maybe in terms of it being shown in a theater eligible, but
Yeah.
still, if you're not, if it's not, it's not picture. I don't know. I get a bit suspicious. I'm sure there's other things you could have stuck in here, and give it its own shitty worst reality
Yeah, for
TV
sure.
movie.
Exactly. You can make up your Barry L. Bumstead, like the
Yes, it can, and then it can be
whatever,
a
the
winner as
Paris
well.
Hilton Award for
Hmm.
worst reality, blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
But what's interesting is it was distributed by New Line Cinema. And so time wise, this is just after Lord of the Rings. So they'd made all that bank and was like, you know what? Let's give some teenagers money to go to Cancun and drunk.
That
That's
how
gonna be
much
a
would that have cost though? Like that's a
yeah,
no
you're right,
risk.
you're
Yeah, that's a tax write off there. That's a easy.
right.
That's not fucking throwing 75 million away on Gigli. That's
Well,
I can understand that.
surprisingly, looking it up, it apparently had a budget of 7.5 million and it only made five. But I don't
I
know
mean,
where
that's
has the 7 million gone. It's filmed on a camcorder. It's like a Girls Gone Wild aesthetic
it's a
of like
tax
it
write off,
looks
a
like
hundred
dog shit.
percent. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Worst actor: Mike Myers in The Cat in the Hat as the Cat in the Hat.
100%. He's my winner now. That he's popped up.
Because it's just like they've clearly like it's like how Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin spawned like, oh, we just need to get like live wire comedians to voice like everything. It's like Jim Carrey with that in The Grinch. It's a
Hmm.
really cynical attempt to recapture that lightning in the bottle, and it could
Hmm.
not go more wrong.
And this is Myers. Myers is probably at his peak here in terms of popularity.
Yeah, Austin
Where
Powers. We've not yet
Austin
seen The Love
Powers,
Guru.
Shrek's probably ripping it up the first
Yeah,
one.
true. Yeah.
This is probably the first big misstep as well he's done, and it is awful. And I'm a Myers fan. I spoke about him before, but yeah, there's no excuse. It's terrible. It's terrifying and it's terrible. So
Ashton Kutcher in Cheaper by the Dozen, Just Married, and My Boss's Daughter as Hank, Tom Lezak, and Tom Stanfield, respectively.
well, he's not the lead actor in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Exactly, yeah, he is one of the
So
dozen.
so strike that off right away. Just Married is with. I think I've seen Just Married. Who's in that again? It's
I can
got
remember
Alicia
the poster
Silverstone.
of that.
It's
I want to say it was Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy. Okay, I
Yeah.
think I think I've seen that. I've got vague recollections of it. What was the other one?
My Boss's Daughter?
Not heard of that one though.
Oh, poster looks familiar.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
if I told you it stars Ashton Kutcher, Tara Reid, and Terence Stamp. He is the boss.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
Tara Reid's the dog. And this is Tara Reid, American Pie, but before Crisis as well. So that'd be yeah. I have no interest in watching that, but okay.
Not even for
This is
Terry.
not not even for Ashton. This is probably the Mr. Razzie's hate boner for Ashton appearing as well, though.
Yeah, he's kind of like a safe, like Ashton Kutcher's probably never going to be bad enough to win, but he's kind of like a safe nom if you're just filling space. Then we have Justin Guarini from Justin to Kelly as Justin Bell. He is dreadful, well deserved.
Fair.
And then Cuba Gooding Jr. in Ding 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 Boat Trip, The Fighting Temptations and Radio as
What?
Jerry Robinson, Darren Hill, and James Robert Radio Kennedy.
Wow.
So,
So this must piss you off that Boat Trip never got nominated for Worst Picture.
well, I've experienced this twice because you told me in the Swept Away year that was Boat Trip, and you were correct.
I've,
Boat Trip is technically a 2002 release, but it's a weird one where it was released in the UK in 2002, but it wasn't released in the US until 2003. So that's why we get it here. Like, I don't know if it's still the 9/11 hangover of like, like, because in the UK, like, it was released, yeah, October 2002. Yeah, and then like 6 months later in the US. So I don't know if it was like a year later that people still weren't ready to laugh.
Why would you?
But
Because it's an
yeah,
American
it's
film as
really
well.
bizarre that would happen because we
Why would
occasionally
you?
get things like Bond earlier, but
Yeah,
we never
yeah,
get.
but a Cuba Gooding Jr. Horatio Sanz comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I'm experiencing this all over again because I'm like, how on earth you can have like Boat Trip is worse than Charlie's Angels. Boat
Yeah.
Trip is worse than The Cat in the Hat. Boat Trip is worse than Gigli.
Yeah.
I don't know about the spring break ones, but how you can not nominate Boat Trip, I really do not
Yeah.
understand that. But we'll cover that when we watch Boat Trip for our special. Have you seen The Fighting Temptations or Radio?
I've never heard of them.
He's good value on Boat Trip alone because I haven't seen the
Yeah,
others
he
either.
doesn't need the other tags. Exactly.
And then our winner, Ben Affleck for Daredevil, Gillet, and Paycheck as Matt Murdock / Daredevil, Larry Gillet, and Michael Jennings.
So I've seen the other two as well. Paycheck's not. It's John Woo.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that.
I went through a John Woo phase after Mission Impossible 2, and I think it was, and I worked backwards, and I was like, oh, this is actually a director I enjoy. And went back, obviously, to his classic years. This is before,
Yeah.
Face Off.
I'm
I'd
gonna
never
take.
seen anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked backwards. I don't like Paycheck. I don't remember that much. Paycheck. Can't even remember its full name. But I like Daredevil for what
Yeah.
it is as well. For a 2003
It's got
superhero movie.
Nickelback on the soundtrack. What more could you ask for?
It's very, very dated. I don't hate Ben Affleck in it either.
No, I like him.
I think this is where you're wrong. You devalue it by putting on all the other tags again. We've said this
Yeah.
before. So just stick with Gillet, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think like he's bad in Chile, but the only truly Razzie worthy part of his performance is the complete absence of any chemistry with J-Lo. That's the one where I'm like dreadful, 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 objectively awful, worse than anything else I've seen this year. So I kind of disagree. I don't think I would have him as winner. I'd probably have Myers or Cuba. But yeah, I think I've told the story on the podcast before about how Ben Affleck got that like phoenix tattoo on his back, where he was like, like the lows were low. I was in Gile and Daredevil, and I was married to Jennifer Garner. And those were my ashes, and now I'm reborn, triumphant. I'm Batman. I've won an Oscar, and everyone loves me. And I'm like, okay, that's shitty for Jennifer Garner to hear that, like, your ex-wife is the ashes, from which you emerge triumphant. And also, you're forgetting a key part of the Phoenix mythos is it returns to the ashes.
Yes.
And then Zack Snyder's Justice League consumed him and burnt him to a crisp once again.
And now he's back with he's married to Jennifer Lopez again.
Yeah, and he's heir. He's on top of the world.
He's all coming crashing down again, buddy. I can't wait for Gillet too.
Kevin Smith is going to get his hooks back into him. That's going to be the downfall. Moving on, worst actress, Angelina Jolie in Beyond Borders and Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life as Sarah Jordan and Lara Croft.
So I don't know what the fuck Beyond Borders is. I have seen Lara. I of course don't know what the probably really good well-known film is, but I've seen Tomb Raider 2.
Well, Beyond Borders is Martin Campbell.
Oh. What is it, though? Is it
A
not?
romantic drama about aid workers. So it is
Yeah.
Doctors Beyond Borders, I
Yeah.
think.
So,
It's
yeah. I mean,
legally, we can't call you doctors. Like
it's
medical
probably
practitioners beyond borders.
it's probably good. I like Martin Campbell. I've talked about this, but that's not a film I've got any interest in. Whereas a video game adaptation sequel, sign me up. I don't remember much of the sequel. I remember the first one really well. I
Yeah,
always
that's the
remember
Daniel
Chris.
Craig one, isn't it?
Yeah, Chris Barry is the butler, Daniel Craig. I remember the first one so vividly. The second one, I kind of remember, but I'm thinking here it's like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, Full Throttle. It's all merged
Yeah.
together. It's been too long. I don't hate Angelina in it though. I think she's perfect Lara Croft at the time.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she's been nominated.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I would never think of it consciously, but I'm like, maybe I kind of like Angelina Jolie because I'm like, I don't think she's ever, like, I don't know what her worst performance, like, I don't know if she's ever been bad
I've
per
never
se.
not that I can think of the top of my head. Like there's not a Gigli, there's not something that comes
Yeah, like
flying to my head.
I don't love her, but you know what you get with her, and
Yeah, I
like,
like
yeah,
Hackers.
she's
I've always had a
solid.
soft spot since Hackers.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm going to defend her here.
Then we have Cameron Diaz in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle as Natalie Cook.
I don't know who's the worst of the three angels. I'm surprised they didn't all get put together, but honestly, from what I remember, it probably is Diaz.
I think so.
I think so. Like Lucy Liu's good and Thingamajigger's good too. Sorry, it's late, but yeah, like no, off the top of my head recollection, yeah, I do think Diaz is probably and I'm not the biggest Diaz fan,
Yeah.
so yeah, surprised.
Yeah, I enjoy her in some things, but she is capable of being pretty bad. And yeah,
Mhm.
Full Throttle, there's moments where like, you're breaking me out of this. Then we have Kelly Clarkson in From Justin to Kelly as Kelly Taylor. Yeah, she's bad. Probably slightly worse than Justin, but a better singer. So there. And we have Drew Barrymore in Charlie's
Oh, there
Angels
we
Full
go.
Throttle and Duplex as Dylan Sanders and Nancy Kendricks.
Well, I just said that I think she was better, so no. It means Lucy Liu's the best of the three then, so
Yeah.
that's good to know. And she probably is. What's the other film? Duplex, that rings a bell. I don't know if I've seen that. I feel like I
Black
have. I've heard
comedy
of it.
directed by Danielle DeVito, starring Ben Stiller and Drew Barrymore.
I feel like I
Justin
have, but
Theroux again.
oh, throws popping up everywhere. No, I can't comment again. It's not something I've revisited if I have seen it.
Yeah, so I think Drew Barrymore and Charlie's Angels, whilst not, she's the middle ground. Lucy Liu escapes nomination. She's not as good as Lucy Liu, but she's not as bad as Cameron Diaz. She's just kind of middle of the road, and she probably gets the most like acting to do in
Yeah.
terms of emotional work. But yeah, and so that means the winner is Jennifer Lopez in Gigli as Ricky. Well deserved. Worst supporting actor. Christopher Walken in Gigli and Kangaroo Jack as Detective
Oh,
Stanley Jacobellis and Salvatore Maggio.
oh, that's have you seen Kangaroo Jack?
No, that's one that like I think I've seen bits of it on TV,
I
but if I'd sat down and
yeah,
watched it beginning to end, I don't think I have.
I remember renting it. I think this must be one of the final videos, and because it's famous for obviously being shown as a kids film about a kangaroo,
Yeah.
and it's not at all. Like the kangaroo's in it for fucking a minute, and it's like a crime heist. And it actually kind of reminds me of Gigli, and that's fitting because that's a film that is nothing like the cover. This is a year of like false advertising essentially. Kangaroo Jack is awful. I forgot it was 2003, and I haven't seen it since I was a 13-year-old boy. But yeah, okay, Walken. I'm not gonna. I defended you before, but I understand you being here.
And then we have Al Pacino in Gigli as Starkman.
Yeah,
Covered it.
right, covered it.
Alec Baldwin in The Cat in the Hat as Larry Quinn. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't really
yeah.
recall, but Mike Myers
Well,
is the
Mike,
worst part.
yeah, Mike Myers. You are like, I don't know if it's one of those things where Myers is so bad he makes everyone else look bad by effect,
I think
or
it's the opposite. I think he's like the bat symbol. He's a bright yellow target, so he
or
just
as I say,
attracts everything.
or he takes it away. It's one or the other.
Then we have Anthony Anderson in Kangaroo Jack as Louis Booker. Do you know who that is?
I don't know. No.
Okay, moving on. The winner. Do you know who this guy is? Sylvester Stallone in Spy Kids 3D, Game Over as the toy maker.
What the fuck? So I haven't. I always confess I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan. I'm a big Stallone fan. I haven't seen Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah.
I don't know what this one is. How is he? You must have seen it.
I haven't seen it since the cinema, but like, I didn't think he was that in it. And then when I looked at the poster, I was like, oh no, he is the main villain. He's not. Like, it's a Spy Kids movie. He fits the tone. Like, he works. You know me. I'm first in line to punch Rocky, to have a go at Rocky while a bigger boy holds him down. But I think he's nomination. If you have this vendetta against him, he's nomination worthy, but he is certainly not win worthy.
No, yeah.
Not when we have Christopher Walken.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that, especially for two absolute stinkers as well. Like,
Yeah.
again, as his vendetta pissing me off because Spy Kids isn't going to pop up anywhere else here. He hasn't
No.
seen it, and that's bullshit. You know, Mr. Razzie's not sitting at 54 years old watching Spy Kids to see how their performances are. You know, like, fuck him. I hope he's not anyway.
Then we have worst supporting actress. Tara Reid in My Boss's Daughter as Lisa Taylor. Not seen it. Kelly Preston in The Cat in the Hat as Joan Walden. Do you remember her?
I know Kelly Preston, but it's Alec Baldwin effect where
it's the Myers vortex.
You could yeah, exactly.
Then Brittany Murphy in Just Married as Sarah Lezak. So she might be bad, but she's not distinctively bad enough for you to remember it's her.
I don't mind Brittany Murphy either. God rest her soul. So
yeah. Lainey Kazan in Gigli as Mrs. Gigli. Yeah, not as bad as Robin. And the winner, Demi Moore in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle as Madison Lee.
Yeah, and how is she? Because I can't remember her in it.
She's fine. Like Striptease, she's genuinely bad. Indecent Proposal, she's maybe genuinely good. Charlie's Angels, unremarkable. Fine.
Okay, so it's good, the bad, the forgettable. That's fine by me.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't know, Mr. Razzie just mailing it in with a boring, safe choice of like, who have I given Razzies to previously? Like, it's just, Mr. Razzie giving supporting nominations to Stallone and Demi Moore. It's just like the Oscars handing out nominations when they see Meryl Streep's done a movie.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, whatever. He's just playing the greatest hits when neither of their performances actually deserve it.
Exactly.
Worst screen couple, also known as the Gigli Award. No. Eric Christian Olsen and Derek Richardson in Dumb and Dumberer When Harry Met Lloyd.
I've seen. I went to cinema to see this when I was 30. I didn't hate it. I know it gets a really bad rap. I never seen the sequel. I don't know.
Dumb and
I get
Dumber
their
2.
name. Yes, I never seen that one, and I love the original. And I didn't hate it. I mean, there's a few jokes in it. I always remember the poster with the evolution of man.
Yeah, that's a great poster.
It's a great poster. Yeah, like I think they're really good as well. Like in terms of like mimicking the younger versions.
The
of them.
casting is so good.
So that's considering that's the only nomination that's popped up so far. I think that's so wrong.
Yeah.
Big disagree.
Exactly. I'm the same as you. I saw it when I was 12 years old on VHS, and I don't know, it might be a prequels thing. Like, I might have actually watched When Harry Met Lloyd before watching Dumb and Dumber. So I haven't watched it since, so maybe rose-tinted glasses here, but like I enjoyed it enough at the time and think kind of fondly of the bits of them getting there. Like they lick like another pole, don't they?
Yeah, it recycles it, but like
that's why I enjoyed it, because I was like, I've never seen this before. And then when Dumb and Dumber, when I watched that, I was like, hang on, plagiarizing on Harry Met Lloyd. Have they not learned? Truly, these men are dumb and dumber.
So, but if that comes up on worst prequel or remake, whatever, I'll let it off. But no, worst screen combo, strong disagree.
You're gonna have a take on this. Mike Myers and either Thing 1 or Thing 2, both voiced by Dan Castellaneta in The Cat in the Hat.
Oh, pick one. Pick one, you fuck.
He couldn't go Thing 1 and Thing 2.
No. He has to pick or, doesn't he? I never forgot. Mr. Simpson was the voice actor here as well. That shows how long it's been. I would have thought maybe Mike Myers and Mike, because Mike Myers plays heaps of roles in that film, doesn't he?
Does he?
Does he not have like his little? Is he not like a mailman or something? I don't know. I'm
Oh.
misremembering. I'm sure Myers is out of costume as well in the film, or in different costumes.
The cat
Um,
spins into different costumes, I think, but I don't know if I ever
okay.
remember seeing him without the makeup.
For some
But
reason, I think I can see Myers. Anyway,
yeah.
Myers. Yeah. Okay. Like. Yeah. Okay. Fair. Okay. It deserves it. The whole film deserves it.
Then we have Ashton Kutcher and either Brittany Murphy in Just Married or Tara Reid in My Boss's Daughter. Not seen it.
Not pick one though.
Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini in From Justin to Kelly. Well deserved, truly awful, no chemistry. But second to the disaster of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez in Gigli. So, interestingly, Ben Affleck received his Razzie. So,
Oh,
Larry King presented the Razzie to Ben Affleck, who refused to take it because he said it looks like a piece of crap. And so Mr. Razzie gave an interview because he said, like, Mr. Razzie gave a very indignant interview where he said he rejected it for looking, as he called it, cheap, which of course is the whole point of it. And then Mr. Razzie went to go and retrieve the Razzie, which
of course he did.
yeah. Now the Larry King people are refusing to send it back to me, so I have to go back to the studio and pick it up myself. I'm putting it up for sale on eBay to see if I get any takers. So he eventually did sell the Razzie for, do you want to guess?
$50.
No. So you've spoken about your ambition to own a
Yeah,
Razzie.
I want.
The
That's why I'm
going rate,
aiming low.
$1,700. And
Fucker.
so it paid for next year's venue, did Affleck's
Oh,
Razzie.
it's also probably going to be bought by their own fucking academy and their own members and stuff. They know it.
Oh.
Like, see,
We're
right, but
continuing
those
the
are,
Mark Ruffalo conspiracy thriller.
the other thing as well is that would probably be for worst actor, right?
Yeah.
So he's still eligible for a worst screen combo one.
Yeah.
He could still pick it up, and I could still get that one.
Ben, give us a call.
Or
Yeah,
J
so
Lo.
I tried to I tried to find the clip. I couldn't find that. But similarly, Jamie Dornan was presented with his Razzie on Conan O'Brien, and he holds it upside down and the raspberry falls off. Like it breaks just from him holding it. It's
Well,
incredible.
that's amazing. I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna get one, but it's gonna be in a million pieces. Like heartbroken.
So moving on, we have worst remake or sequel. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What
Oh,
one is this?
it's just the first remake. So we've got one,
2003,
two,
Jessica
three.
Biel.
So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth one.
Okay.
Four's Christian Bale.
What?
Yeah. Three is no, not Christian Bale. Sorry, it's my sleep
Slater?
deprived. No, it's hold on.
Because I was going to say, I was like, I've seen pretty much every movie Christian Bale's done.
It's not. I'm sorry. I'm sleep deprived here. It is Matthew McConaughey. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right,
Sorry.
all right.
Totally,
Getting your
totally
rain of
brain dead.
fire
Totally brain
wires
dead here.
crossed.
1, 2, 3. Love one. Love two. Three. Okay. Four shit. Five is the first remake. And five is shit. Deserves thing. In hindsight, it's the best of the remakes.
Mhm.
Because they're only going to go downhill from here. We get 3D, we get all the new ones and the TV show and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
But unnecessary is always the word. It's just the same film but done worse. So yeah.
Then we have From Justin to Kelly, remake of Where the Boys Are and Where the Boys Are 84. Hard to tell. They're a musical about people going on spring break. I'm inclined to say that's Mr. Razzie doing his bullshit of just like Mr. Razzie's doing the monomyth of like there are only three types of stories, and but yeah, just padding the category. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, so you called it. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Nice. Have you seen it?
Nope, not seen any
No,
of those films.
okay, so I've seen one, two, well, Too Fast, Too Furious. Third one's Tokyo Drift, and then I came in 5 films later when The Rock's there and they're
Yeah, in
flipping
space.
when it gets nuts.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Furious at the time, I remember being okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't really like these films either, but it's the third one, Tokyo Drift, I didn't enjoy at the
Yeah.
time. So But again, it's not popped up anywhere else, so there's probably worse out here. Like Tomb Raider 2, Charlie's Angels 2 are the ones you've nominated, unless they've won it, obviously.
Yeah. No, so it went to Charlie's Angels Full Throttle.
So yeah, Tomb Raider 2 was great apart from Angelina Jolie's performance, apparently.
And moving on, worst director, Bo Welch for The Cat in the Hat. This is a bit of a 50-50 one because the world of the film, immersive, but the performances and sort of tone, no.
Yep.
The Wachowskis for The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions.
2003, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where are they in the last fucking category? I think I've made my feelings to you very clear. I love The Matrix. I love The Matrix. I hate the sequels.
But are they badly directed?
They're badly written.
Yeah.
They're not any
badly
worse directed.
But yeah.
Badly conceived. Yes. Okay. Maybe the third one in particular I'll give worst direction, like a bad director for, because that's obviously your emotional Jesus beat.
Yeah.
It gets thrown out the window, and that's poor. The second one, okay, so third one, yes. Second one, no.
It's the Pirates of the Caribbean syndrome, I think, where I think 2 is kind of fine. 2 just rests entirely on 3. Like, if 3 was good, if 3 stuck the landing, no one would speak about 2, but because 3 is a stinker.
2 was impressive at the time. It was stupid, but it was impressive. It was... Yeah. It was, a lot of buzz about it, and I remember going to see it and thinking, okay. They don't help when they came out so close, the same year as well. That really didn't help. They should have let them breathe a little bit. But yeah, the third one, like you said, doesn't stick landing.
And then we have Mort Nathan for Boat Trip. We will deal with that when we get to the special, but let me just say, entirely deserved. Robert Iscove for From Justin to Kelly. Yeah. Yep. Well deserved. And then the winner, Martin Brest for Gigli, which, I could see it going to any one of those top 3, to be honest. Can't really split them. Worst screenplay, From Justin to Kelly, written by Kim Fuller. And so Kim Fuller is an English writer, and he also wrote the S Club 7 movie.
Oh, okay.
So, which, just speaking about, what's he called? Paul Cattermole dying the other day. Yeah, maybe I haven't seen the. I
remember the TV show. I've never seen the movie.
I remember the poster, but this guy wrote Spice World. He wrote From Justin to Kelly, and he wrote Seeing Double. So he was basically the pop star vehicle. Movie. Like, you want one of those, you come to him. And yeah, not great off the basis of this. Dumb and Dumber, screenplay by Robert Brenner and Troy Miller. So that is the Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Troy Miller.
Troy Miller, I know, is Mr. Show.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the writers on there. Yeah, like many. I think every sitcom or he's put his hands in every pie. Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, I don't think it's a bad film, so I don't think it deserves. I mean, it's a rehash of the first film, and I like the first film, so.
Yeah. Then we have Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, screenplay by John August and Marianne Wibberley and Cormac Wibberley, based on a TV series created by Ivan Goff and Ben Roberts. Not a great screenplay, but it's kind of fun. Yeah. I'm actually glad that Mick G didn't get nominated for Best Director, because I actually think that film's directed pretty well.
Oh, actually, I'd have liked. I forgot it was Mick G as well.
Yeah, our beloved Terminator Salvation, Mick G.
That's gonna have to come up one day. Never trust someone with one name. It's a share effect, isn't it?
Then we have The Cat in the Hat, screenplay by Alec Berg and David Mandel and Jeff Schaefer, based on the book by Dr. Seuss. Like you said, they kind of miss the Dr. Seuss tone. Like, if you write a Dr. Seuss screenplay and you don't have any like rhymes, basically, then you've kind of fucked up.
Especially after coming off The Grinch as well, which although isn't super faithful, like it still straddles the line between like the animated show, the book, and a live action the Flintstones effect, and I remember, was it Horton Hears a Who? I remember that one, the animated one. Yeah. And it doesn't completely stay faithful. Like, it's got to adapt it, but this is weird. So I understand all the production stuff and all the fun stuff visually isn't in the screenplay, so I understand that.
Yeah. And then the winner, Gigli, written by Martin Brest.
Absolutely. 17 out of 10.
And now we round off with 2 of Mr. Razzi's trademark bullshit categories.
Oh, okay.
So Worst excuse for an actual movie, all concept, no content. The Real Cancun. Yeah, it's reality TV from
Hmm.
Justin DeKelly. Okay, yeah, it's a feature vehicle for stars from reality TV. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. You're beginning to lose me here a little bit. It's just kind of like an action movie. There is some content here.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Same thing.
They're sequels as well, like
Yeah.
to hugely successful movies. Okay.
And they're not even like all concept, no content. They're
No,
not even like high concept,
no,
particularly. Like,
not at all.
um,
Um,
and then the winner is the Cat in the Hat. So I don't know. What do you
so
think of this category?
I don't. I see when it's all concept to me. I'm thinking. I think the Cancun movie, the
Yeah, yeah.
reality TV one.
We send
I've got
horny
an idea.
teenagers off and we watch
Yes,
them. That's it.
we
Yeah.
put Cuba Gooding Jr. on a boat with Horatio Sands, and
Roger
that's
Moore.
it. Roger Moore. That's it. Like it's all I have is a concept and an idea and nothing. I would have said Gigli is that, to be honest.
Yeah. Hmm.
It was all concept, no content. You can summarize it in a paragraph and nothing happens. I don't like it. What was it called? Worst excuse for an actual
Worst
movie?
excuse for an actual movie.
Oh,
Which,
that's
yeah, for
just
the real Cancun, but the other four are real movies.
yeah. Then yeah, that's I don't like it. And again, you've just picked more the films you've been picking before. It's basically just worst picture but reshuffled. So like
Like, in years to come, when you're going to be giving the top award to Hillary's America and Absolute Proof,
yeah,
like when you're legitimizing them as actual movies, don't really
yeah.
have a leg to stand on here. But
And he's been doing it
anyway,
before. He's yeah. Anyway, so what's the next one?
then the final award, it's one of his lifetime achievement. The Governor's Award for Distinguished Underachievement in Choreography goes to Travis Payne for his work on From Justin to Kelly, which did not remember it. Like, I don't know. I hate to say this, but like, could you do better, Mr. Razzie? Like,
Yeah.
it's I don't think the choreography was that bad. It's kind of like that High School Musical big. I can't really judge dance, but I thought it was okay. But Travis Payne, according to IMDb, was the choreographer for Michael Jackson's "This Is It."
Oh, okay. Okay. So
So
he
he
had
has some pedigree. Yeah.
some pedigree, post pedigree. He learned from his experiences with Justin and Kelly.
That
That's a.
that award from Mr. Razzie inspired him to be like, well, I
Yeah,
have to up my game.
I want him to claim that as well. No other no other nominations. He's just the
Nope.
sole.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's weird. That's mean. It's very singled out. And who cares? That's also not like a clickbait headline title. It's not a
Yeah.
unless Travis Payne is a big choreograph. I'm not big in the choreographing world, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Well,
No, well,
on another episode, which concludes with us just being baffled by what Mr.
baffled.
Razzie
Yeah,
was doing.
what? But yeah, fair play. He gets, and I think it's because this year it's been so like again the same films just shuffled around. He's ran out, and he's
Yeah.
just like because even when you're getting to like the Wachowskis and oh shit, like all this other stuff he's forgotten about. He's just throwing things in, and because you can't just have the 4 films or 5 films he's seen this year.
He's like someone with no backspace on the computer. He's just like, well, you know what? We're too far on, so no going back now.
One take.
Well, thank you for listening. That
Thank you very
brings
much.
an end to another episode as we cross off, and the list growing
Mhm.
kind of thin. We're making our way
And
through the Razzies. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, then you can leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. You can follow us on social media where we are Watching Worst. And you can email us at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com. So, yeah, if you have any thoughts on this year or any of the films nominated
yep,
for this year, I'm actually going to change the way I deal with this link. Next year, if you've seen any of the nominees, like, I don't know, we've got some people who watch the films before our episodes. We've got people like Tyler who are also watching the Razzies. Like, if you have any thoughts, then send them in ahead of time because perhaps you can save me from watching The Real Cancun or From Justin to Kelly.
yes,
Because if we have someone who has an opinion on them, I won't feel
yeah,
compelled to watch them.
yeah.
And on that note, we're going to be back to you next week with 1984 and Bolero.
It's
So
time. It's bow time. I cannot wait.
yeah,
So a long time coming. So can't
yeah,
avoid it any longer. Bo Derek time. We
yeah.
will see you all then. Thank you.